All right, the next item on our agenda is visitor statements, and the Board of Education welcomes and encourages the participation of its citizens in the business of the school district. Thank you for your attendance. There are 2 points in the meeting where visitor statements are scheduled. Citizens are welcome to ask questions or make comments at either one. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. If a person would like additional time to address the board, such a request should be submitted in writing 48 hours before the meeting to the superintendent. For more details, please refer to board policy 2:230, public participation at Board of Education meetings and petitions to the board. So seeing, do I have anybody over here? No. Do I have any over here? Then for visitor statements, I'm asking if Dawn Heller come up and talk about district gifts, policies, and procedures.
Thank you very much.
So,
my name is Dawn Heller. I taught here for 34 years. And I was a media services coordinator, which meant that I ran the library, the audiovisual center, and the television studio.
So Dawn, tell us where you're from.
I live in LaGrange.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to get into that, but I can remember going to, you all know, when you go to the grocery store, somebody's always asking you questions about the high school. Well, it gets a little tiresome when you've been here 34 years. So my husband is a graduate of Riverside Brookfield High School also.
Okay.
And John, welcome too. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
I would like to talk about the story of a painting of Abraham Lincoln. This was given to this district by some very, very distinguished residents of Riverside many years ago. I think it's had more of a history than Abraham Lincoln, to tell you the truth. I'd like to read to you the citation that's been done and put on a plaque. We're still waiting to get the painting up on the wall. This is what the citation says. Abraham Lincoln, 16th President of the United States. The artist is Aldrich Farsky. He's a landscape artist who was born in 1860 and died in 1939. It's an oil on canvas. It's about 6 feet by 4 feet. It's a large, beautiful painting of Lincoln. Mr. Farsky was born on Serbian soil and studied at the art school in Prague. He came to Chicago during the World's Fair in 1893. He made Chicago his home until 1925 when he moved to Los Angeles. This painting was donated to the high school in the 1950s by Mr. and Mrs. James Vesely and Mr. and Mrs. Jerry Vesely, whose children and grandchildren all graduated from this high school. It was a very lovely and wonderful painting. It's had kind of an interesting history. It was hung in the auditorium at one time. Then the auditorium was closed. I mean, you all don't remember this, but I do remember the ceiling tiles were falling down. So, of course, the painting was removed and stuck in a closet someplace where somebody managed to put their foot through it, which was lovely. Anyway, so we finally found that painting in this closet. The library people pulled it out and put it in the library. Now, there is a little problem when you have paintings that valuable too close to anxious fingers of children. As you know, there's a painting in the school that's dedicated to the 3 women who were murdered at Starved Rock. That painting had to be moved from the alumni lounge where it was originally intended, and it's now in the principal's office, so there's a little more protection. So that's one of the areas that needs to be done. When the library was remodeled, the painting was again removed. The last time we found it was on the loading dock. So we've been chasing this painting and trying to preserve it. Recently, the foundation paid to have the painting cleaned and restored, as well as the painting that honored those 3 women at Starved Rock. So it's now time to get it put on the wall. And that has not happened yet. The district has, I think, 2 places that it could go. The auditorium, but I really like the district office because there's a beautiful niche there, which I think would be a lovely spot for that painting. And I think it would be protected. There would be somebody there kind of watching. There wouldn't be children doing naughty things with their fingers sometimes. I do want to suggest that you look at your policies for gifts and procedures. One of the things I'm concerned about, as I've been here for so many years, is we don't have a record of gifts that have been given to this school, a really good permanent record of class gifts, of gifts from individuals, and so on. Now, we kept a memorial book in the library when we got books that were given as gifts in the library, but I don't think there's a general one. So I would urge the board to take a look at the policies and procedures for gifts, because I think just getting it down in writing and then following through and make sure we have a record of each gift, who gave it, when it came, what it was intended for, and so on. I think that's very important. Now, the other thing is, having been here for so long, I was asked by Riverside when they did one of their centennial celebrations to do a history of the high school. It was very difficult to get a lot of the materials about the high school because they just kind of disappear into the woodwork. So I would urge you to look at what York High School has done. They've established an archivist and an archives so that they have things on every board that's been elected to the school board, every administration that's operated in the thing, and then various other areas, and they collect those documents in an archival fashion. And I think the history of this school is so important that I hate to see this just kind of lost into the maelstrom. So if possible, I would urge the board, put the painting up, find out what your gifts and policies and procedures, if you need to revise them or refine them, and then maybe look into the experience at York High School or other places. I don't know. That's the one high school I do know that has an archivist program that they maintain and retain their things. I think we don't want to lose the history of this place. My husband's a graduate, my sister-in-law's a graduate, and of course, I think it's very important and dear to all of us. So thank you very much for listening, and God bless you in your work.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.